the equivalent of a cow, which has 4 teats hanging down here, because I just pulled the finished needle into udder position, and this one has not been changed from udder position. We're about to do that by pulling on the other end of that needle until it's in position to begin working. The yarn, which was finished on this needle, is now given to this needle. In other words, the yarn is shared. The yarn goes across this needle, and that needle goes into udder position. This needle takes the yarn and begins to knit with both ends of itself, and goes across here. When it gets here, it will be given to that needle. So the yarn moves around, sharing itself among 2 needles, but each needle knits only the stitches it has. This needle is going to knit its stitches. It has a dozen stitches. Here we go, knitting them. And watch what will happen when I get to the end of the needle. When I'm at the end of the needle, I will be giving the yarn to the next needle. And the needle that is working right now, the active needle, will go to sleep. It will have a nap in udder position, while the needle that is right now napping is going to wake up any moment. Look, I'm at the end. The alarm clock goes off, says, "Wake up, other needle! Time to work." This one goes to sleep in udder position. The needle that was resting wakes up and resumes knitting. Notice how I hold the yarn in my left hand. The yarn never leaves my left hand. Isn't that nice? I'm not sure what happens if you hold it in your right hand, I'm sorry to say, because I just don't knit that way, and I find it awkward unless I'm doing two-handed, two-color knitting, and then I'm pretty good with it. Okay, so here we are. That alarm clock's about to go off. Ding! Wake up, other needle. This one goes to sleep into udder position. This one gets into position to continue knitting, and around we go. Okay, so I want to make a point here. The knitting is starting to grow this way. It's coming out this way. As we go farther, the knitting will be hanging down out of the way. And the right side is facing you. Now the right side's facing you on the outside, but if you like, and some people do this, you can have the other side facing you. Let me get to the end of this. There goes the alarm clock. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, wake up, other needle. This one goes to sleep in udder position. This one wakes up. Okay, let me show you something. I'm going to push everything to the inside so that what's on the outside is the purl side. I can continue knitting everything on the inside if I want. It makes no difference. I didn't change directions. I didn't do anything but push my knitting to the inside. So if you find that you're knitting on 2 circulars, or even on double pointeds, that would apply the same way. If you find your knitting seems wrong side out, push it to the other side. Notice that my knitting has not changed at all. Okay, so there I am, ding-a-ling-a-ling, go to sleep this needle, wake up other needle. Let's push it back to the outside. I like it better that way. I'm going to do one more round. Now I am working at a large gauge, and that is always slower. I can knit extremely quickly this way. And if I were using sock needles, sock yarn, I would be whipping around here at a rate of over 100 stitches per minute. Okay, notice I didn't even talk about how that happened, but you heard the alarm clock go off. You see the knitting growing out here, and you see how the yarn is now going to travel over here. When it gets here, the alarm clock will go off, and that needle will wake up. And it's that simple. Now you might still be wondering, why are we doing this? Why aren't we using our favorite old double-pointed needles? If you've ever used them before, maybe you haven't. Well, we're not using them because of several things. One is, look at this. Look at how I can make it any shape I want. Now, double-pointed needles require that you have things in squares or rectangulars. You can bend them this way and so on, but they're going to have square corners and flat sides. You do not have any body parts, none, not even at a cellular level, that are square or flat like that. You have no body parts that can be simulated with double-pointed needles. So when you try on a sock, partway with double pointed needles, you're getting a poor approximation of fit. With these, let's say you have a very flat foot, no problem. You have a very fat foot, no problem. You have a foot that's shaped like that, no problem. In other words, it rounds itself to you. Another point is we have 2 needle intersections. We have the alarm clock go off twice in a round. If you're using double pointed needles, you have the alarm clock go off 4 times in a round. Who likes to hear an alarm clock? Not me. Now, I have to admit, I'm extremely biased in favor of 2 circs, and I completely respect people who love double-pointed needles, but I just happen not to love them very much at all. And I can't help but proselytize my own passion for circular needle, the circs. So anyway, look at that. 2 alarm clocks instead of 4, and it fits your foot. Also, you can, it's friendlier. Look at that. Look at that. And it's not in your way. You don't have these pokey things attacking you. You don't break your needles. You don't drop them under the couch or into the train tracks where you'll never see them again. Instead, they're always there where you need them, and they always fit, and they're very nice. And also, let's say you're doing something with a fancy big cable that takes up 2/3 of your stitches. Well, you can put 2/3 of your stitches on one circular needle and not have any alarm clocks go off in the middle of the cable. I hope I'm convincing 1 or 2 of you to try this if you've never tried it before. If you've never done any circular knitting, I really think this is the way you should begin. And if then you want to change over to double-pointed needles, wonderful. In fact, I think you should learn to use double-pointed needles, learn to do Sarah Hauschka's wonderful magic loop method, and this. And then you can make an educated decision about what you want to do. Much better than simply saying this is the best or not. And the truth is, I haven't knit seriously with double-pointed needles in about 7 years, and so perhaps I am not in a good position to even talk about them, because I hardly ever use them, but I certainly do know how to use them very well. Okay, look at how our knitting is growing down. We right now have a cow. Let's say that you put this down and picked it up and said, oh dear, which way do I go? Oh no. Find your working yarn. It's got to keep traveling in this direction, counterclockwise. So it's got to go this way. If you went this way, you would be knitting on the wrong side. So it's pretty darn easy to see which way to go. Okay.